man, isn't this just beautiful? But it's kind of missing something. Ah, yes, a roof. Yep, I gotta fix that. We need a roof on this thing. Problem, the roof that I had designed for this requires a lot of blue materials. Could get a little bit of a better vantage point here. It requires a lot of things like copper, warped wood, and prismarine. None of which I have. So, we're gonna change that. With today's extra, I want to beat a trial chamber, as well as tear out all the copper in it. But I need to find one first, which means I need a cartographer, or several cartographers. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be building a beautiful observatory right up on this hill here. I think it's going to look amazing. So if we go to free cam, this little hill here, I would love to put the observatory right up here. Now, I'm not sure if I want to create more of a mountain to go up and over, kind of like, you know, going up over and being more out here, or if I just want to kind of fix up a little bit of this terrain here, make this look a little bit smoother, and then just plop the observatory here. I'm not really sure, because like from this angle, it does kind of flow outward, but then you look at it from this angle, and it's just a part of the mountain. But yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how I want to do it, but doesn't matter. We're building the observatory anyways, and I'm going to use Axiom to try to help me out, but I don't really know how to use it very well, so we're gonna live stream it. I know for those of you watching this video, it would have been past the live stream, so make sure you catch those. It'll be on YouTube and on Twitch at DougWolfDestroy. But I will be live streaming, trying to figure out how to use Axiom while also trying to build this place here. That is my current plan, and that is what I plan to do. So, yeah, I will meet you guys back when I have that, at least somewhat of a plan for that, hopefully. Yeah, let's go do that. Alright, so there it is. That is the observatory that I designed live on stream. And yeah, it's a little bland on the house portion. There's a lot that I want to figure out exactly. I don't know how to make this blank wall interesting. That's my struggle. I don't know what blocks to use or what to put on it to actually make it look good and fill it up, or like even just a texture. I'm not even sure I really like this either. I was just kind of trying something there. But yeah. But there's one problem, and you may notice it, is the actual observatory itself requires a lot of these guys. A lot of bone blocks, and I don't have a lot of those. Get the frig out of my face.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I don't have a lot of bone blocks, which is a bit of a problem, and yeah, I need a lot. Now, normally I just build a big old mob farm up in the sky somewhere, but we've already got a behemoth of a sky monster there, so I don't really want to do that. And I always build mob farms. I'm kind of tired of always building mob farms. I want to do something different, you know. I'm tired of doing the same thing every single time. We need something new, you know. So I have a good idea, and it belongs right over there. I want to make a moss farm, specifically to just generate bone meal, to at least start right now, and then we can switch it between bone meal mode and creating moss for us as we need it here and there. But I think the perfect place to actually put the moss farm, now it'll be a little bit easier to see it in free cam here, would be right up here behind this tree. I want to build a hobbit hole here, dig it out, and put a little moss farm in there. I'm going to link the guy who did it down below so y'all can see who it is. But yeah, it's time to build a moss farm. Alright, so I was supposed to record a time lapse, and I totally forgot. But here it is. Here is the hobbit hole, and you can very easily see the moss farm there. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I decided to make it not symmetrical like these other ones tend to be. I had the same kind of symmetrical slope for them, and then kind of mixed it up. I genuinely kind of just didn't make it symmetrical. I may get annoyed with it and being not symmetrical and having things like that. I don't know yet. I just noticed that, and now it's starting to annoy me a little bit, but that's fine. I did not decorate the inside. I'm planning on doing that next, and this is kind of like markers for me to know where land is and land is not. But here is the moss farm. This design comes from Basic Redstone. I'll have the link down in the description. Hopefully I'll remember to put it there. But yeah, Basic Redstone. Remember that name. That's who designed this. Pretty good farm. I AFK'd for 12 hours while I was at work. And so we got a good chunk. This one doesn't really get a lot. This one has a ton, and that has a ton, and we got a lot of bone blocks, or bone meal that we could turn into bone blocks, and of course, each one of these rows is a stack, and we needed 317 bone blocks. So I'm going to turn all of this into bone blocks, so we can use it for that, for the thingy that we're building, the observatory, that's what it is. The observatory, so yeah, we're going to build that, but before we build that, I really want to design the interior to this. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this way, and when I turn around, we'll have a new interior. And now it is time for the grand reveal. Going up this path, this is the final product for the farm. Now, I did yet another AFK session. You already saw how powerful it was when creating bone meal, but I decided to AFK for a little bit more. And yeah, It produced a lot, so much so that we switched it back to bone meal mode. And you might be thinking, well, that's a lot, but that's not that much. It's a very minimal amount of chests. Well. I didn't just build that hobbit hole. I also built a cave as well. Yes, and this houses a massive storage for the entire thing. Now you might say, this thing is huge. Now, no, it is not all moss. Starting over here, we have seeds, which we didn't really get a lot, to flowering azalea, to regular azalea, and moss carpet. That only goes to about there. This is where the moss starts. Now, mind you, I gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits for moss. And it's all full, up to here. And it's still unclogging itself, because when I had AFK'd for about, I'd say roughly 10 hours or so while I was at work, yeah, it produced a lot. It's all full. And then these are for bone meal, and this is for anything that makes it through the system, but it just clogged up. The whole thing is clogged. Everything is clogged. Alright, well, the moss farm is now done, and it looks beautiful. I think the next thing that is to do is to build that guy up there. Now that we have all of the bone blocks that we need, we should have all the other resources, including all the dark oak, the sandstone for the texturing. I'll need a lot of birch as well for certain areas as well. And yeah, we'll actually need a lot of those azalea bushes because we'll need those leaves. I think I got some moss stuck in my throat. But without further ado, let's go ahead and go into a time-lapse and build the observatory. Time-lapse finished, and we have an almost finished product. Yeah, so we're missing a roof. If you remember, I don't have a lot of copper. That's kind of why I'm doing this whole thing. I would really like to get some more copper so I could finish the roof and start working on this roof, which I actually need 3 other resources that are hard to get, but that'll be a future me problem. But yeah, so we used flashback to make this first time. May have been a little too fast. I'm still getting used to how to use it. This is my first ever time-lapse using flashback, but let's take a tour of the interior. So here we have like the homely vibe. We have a nice fire pit. I actually need to fix the roof here so that way it's smooth in the inside. unlike what it is now, but don't pay attention to that. We got 2 chairs here so you can sit down, nice carpet there, and of course the trading room. There will be 12 cartographers in here, and yes, it is a full circle room, so you can trade with any of them. And if we go upstairs to the actual telescope, yeah, there's a telescope. So we got, it looks a little dorky, I'm not gonna lie. It looks a little dorky without the dome, but once we get the dome in there, it'll look a lot better. Now, if you're curious, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I designed this entire building in a creative testing world using Axiom, and I live streamed it as well. So if you guys are interested in watching stuff like that happen, go ahead and check out the Twitch channel, which will be linked down below. I will also be taking down that trial chamber live, maybe, depending on timing, because I am going back to college again for semester number 2, so hopefully it won't be like the last episode where there was a drought. I'd like to at least upload 1 or 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, who knows, episodes this following couple of months, but we'll see as time allows. But without further ado, we got to get some villagers in there, so let's do that. Alright, we have all the cartographers now. Now, not all of them sell trial chamber maps, but this guy does, and we actually came a little bit prepared. So let's go ahead and purchase one of these. Okay, it's a wee bit far away, but that shouldn't be a problem. Well, without further ado, let's head to the trial chamber, which we will be streaming this event. Now, obviously, those of you watching, this already passed, but all streams are streamed to both Twitch and YouTube, this exact channel here, so you can go ahead and watch the VOD if you are interested in catching up with it. But it is time to hunt a trial chamber, so let's go. Righty, guys, we finally got that copper. Don't worry about any of this. That's just some side terraforming I was doing while waiting to get all the villagers there. But we now have the dome. It is completed. Let me give you a free cam show off of this thing. So here it is in its entirety. Now you may notice that we don't have any of the weathered copper in there, just like that slightly weathered bits in there, which help really bring together that bottom section. If we fly a little bit closer, like these areas here that are more dirtier in a sense, like we put a lot of waxed kind of copper there, like weathered, a slightly weathered version of this there, so it looks like it's dirtier in those sections, and that, you know, that's the reason why it's specifically in these spots, is that's the dirty parts of the dome. It all kind of connects together, but all of this is actually already waxed, so we'd have to unwax it and then put on honeycomb, which we don't have a lot of. We actually did get a little bit of it back at our at the hunting of the trial chamber. Now, I'm not going to include any of the footage because, to be frank, it was quite boring. It was a very easy hunt. Found the trial chamber, dug down, defeated all the guys, you know, unlocked a couple things, didn't get anything interesting. And then mined out one room, got enough copper to finish off that. We'll need to go back anyways to get the copper so we can build this roof. But that's actually going to be for next episode, or at least we need 2 more resources to actually finish that. We need prismarine and warped wood, which will be a next episode thing. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Bye-o!